I am Joshua Lawrence from Bangalore, and currently I'm part of CFC Vellore. Although I was born a Christian, my life was no different from any other person in the world. I was a Christian, but only in namesake. Before knowing Christ, I was committing all sorts of sins. I would fight with humans, I would easily get offended, and I would keep grudges against other people in my heart. I would appear quiet on the outside, but my heart was often in sin and unrest. I would not obey my parents, and even when they do correct me, I would never do anything they say willingly and would often criticize them in my heart. It was a life of constant hiding. I did not take God or my life seriously. It was myself who was on the throne all the time, and everything in my life only revolved around myself and the world. It was only during my sixth and seventh standard where God started changing me. During then, my dad used to take these small Bible studies at home. We would just sing some couple of songs and he would start to speak from the Bible. It was then where God started speaking to me and I started seeing some changes in my life. Little by little, God started convicting me of the many sins in my life and delivered me from them as I repented and confessed. He replaced the old heart with a new and fresh one in me, and he put an interest for him to do his will. I also loved hearing Zach Uncle's sermons, where I felt God speaking to me each time. He helped me keep a clear conscience from then on. Initially, I also used to condemn myself and frequently get discouraged. I used to imagine God as a policeman who is very strict and expects me to do everything without blemish. I used to struggle on my own, thinking I had to please the Lord without any faults or I will be sent to hell. However, the Lord soon brought me out of this while I was hearing one of Zach Uncle's sermon and showed me his side of love. I started speaking to God more and would just talk to him about my day and my life as my prayer. I started wanting to do everything for him out of love. I still was not absolutely sure whether Jesus was in my heart or not. I kept asking Jesus to come into my heart and for the assurance. Then he spoke to me through a verse in John chapter 6 and verse 37 while I was listening to one of Zach Uncle's sermon. Everything that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me he certainly will not cast out. I had both read and listened to this verse multiple times, but that time it struck me, and I wondered why I was not believing Jesus when he said he will absolutely not cast me out. Then I had the assurance that Jesus was already in my heart. During my 11th and 12th standard, it felt like I was drifting away from God, but He in His mercies brought me back to Him. One thing I learned from looking back at those times was that I should always seek for an authority over me. Another thing I learned was that I should never think that I will not or never fall again. I should never think of myself above others or that I'm not to their level. He taught me that the second I make him oppose me, I will fall down completely. One thing which the Lord taught me through a conference which I had attended was to continuously cry out to Him. Whenever I felt sin was burdening me, or if I find myself struggling to walk in the right way, I would cry out to God for help. No matter what struggle it was, or how small I felt the struggle was, I cried out to Him in my heart. And whenever God answered, I felt peace and joy in my heart. This was a tremendous encouragement for me, and I could see God helping me those times. It was a great comfort to know that I was a weak vessel because it kept me from discouragement when I fell short of God's standard. It was not something I can ever do it on my own. My only choice and help is to God for help, who will provide me the strength. A lot of times I also used to think it is difficult to live without a sinful or earthly habit, but whenever I obeyed Him, it showed me how whenever wonderful a life which I can walk with God is. It made me want to live without those habits because I tasted the life with Jesus. God has continuously led me and has never given me up despite all my failures. He became a tower in which I can lean on, be it for earthly or spiritual matters, and He is the one doing all the wonderful things in me. In the future, I want to glorify God more through my life and that He may open my eyes to see Him more and I may know about His love more so that I don't feel any regret at the end, seeing how less I have done for the Lord or how much time I have wasted in many pointless things on earth. I want to live such a life, such that at the end Jesus would say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." I believe that He will continue leading me until I become like Jesus. Amen.